A Birthday by William James Rowe. Shot like an arrow through the air, my life is flying. Where, oh where? The sudden flights on which I go, and what the aim I may not know. When this troubled heart is dead, when the mark the shaft has sped, when should my soul unerring know the mark to which I trembling go? When speeding toward this unknown mark, need I go trembling through the dark? No, for one thing I surely know, it was God's hand that bent the bow. A Poet by William James Rowe. A poet, like a child astray, hears a voice calling far away, with something friendly in the tone he does not wish nor dare disown. What voice it is he does not know, enough 'tis happiness to go, yet troubled lest his gladsome cry be to the voice no fit reply. A Tryst by William James Rowe. I looked upon a marble face, upon her lips I pressed a prayer. For me, not for you, the grace you were not there. I see the stars shine cold and red, I look into the unbounded air, and this was all the shining said, you were not where. So oftentimes when it has happed that those who laughed are torn apart, when the tense silver cord has snapped that held us loving heart to heart, we cry, oh dear one, where art thou? And all God's universe of space shall not the love eternal show to you and me some trysting place? Aletha by William James Rowe. What all men think 'tis mine to say, to me the dark is as the day, tomorrow is as yesterday. Where men are blind I only see, dumb mouth, deaf ears are naught to me. It is enough alone to be. What a man dream I realize, and mortals wait till their dead eyes open upon the great surprise. Of my vast height the poets rhyme, with feeble feet they vainly climb, with tired steps my steep of time. Where men believe 'tis mine to know, mine are the peaks that burn and glow, with volcanoes in the snow. Mine is the soul of fire, lit by the unknown, but out of it upon the heart the known is read. Announcement in the Newburgh Journal by William James Rowe. Early in January we expect to publish the first of a promised series of Letters from the New World, in which we shall have the first impression and pencilings of an American who for the first time looks upon sights and scenes made interesting by distance, alike of time and space, and often hallowed by the associations of centuries. The contemplated journey of a tourist will take him upon the continent, into Egypt, the Holy Land, etc. And from what we know of his ability as a writer, we have no hesitancy in promising the readers of a journal a rich treat. Children of Sea by William James Rowe. Greater grows the world and wiser for the blood that she has spilled, and the land of freedom reckons with the arms that dare impede. Stands the male civilizer, with one hand upon the hilt, and the other gently beckons to the lowly she has freed. Their glories more enduring, greatness greater than the past, when the flood of conquest falling shall have left the lowlands free. When for aye old evils curing shall the seed of good be cast, hear the new archangel calling to the children of the sea. Steadfast stand the states united, shrill the fifth and loud the drum, and the starry banners flaunting float along the serried lines, for the wrung-out arms have righted here old Cuba cry, we come, and Puerto Rico chanting answers to the Philippines. Greet the greater nation blenched with a new triumphal song, and for reason's reign undying gather in the states to be. For conquest swift and splendid over nature rude and wrong, hear the new archangel crying to the children of the sea. Epithalamium by William James Rowe. Two knights set forth to fare afield, and both were blithe and gay. Quoth one, now I will bear the shield, and the sword shall play. So all the day they rode away all through the foeman's land, but none could preface that perfect shield, and none the sword withstand. But I mistrust that never knights would be so brave for fray, if both essayed to bear the shield, or both the sword to play. The knightly names who fared afield, albeit the sword did play, and for the one who bore the shield, her husband called her May. Hawthorne's Birthplace by William James Rowe. Hawthorne was born in a modest wooden house on a secluded street at Salem, Massachusetts. He was a chronicler of the romance of his town, and of a time in its history long antedating his own, of Salem, the city of witchcraft and witches, of rocking fanaticism and Puritan diablerie, of a ghastly mania that, worse than plague or pestilence, ran its evil course towards fatal gallows hill. Chronicler also of two or more modern, better periods, of a placid port, the seashore, and the seafaring men whose occupations has in the main slipped away. Hawthorne was one of those men of letters, perhaps most distinguished of them all, who, crossing the Atlantic, laid down their charming works for the entertainment and, truth to tell, no little astonishment of our kin across the sea. Hawthorne dignified American literature. He was one of those pioneers who civilized the wilderness of a commonplace in our fiction. Apart from his fame as an author, beyond even the renown of his Scarlet Letter and House of the Seven Gables, above the plaudits of the public for his public works, I hold Hawthorne's private bequests to posterity to have been more largely meritorious. Surely his must have been a noble, as well as highly gifted character, which was so fitly framed as to leave hostages to memory and as honored children. Who will not understand all I mean that has seen the lovely, if low, ministrations of his daughter among the poor, oppressed with the most horrible of afflictions of the body, the poor of the awful east side of the city of New York? Who will not honor the father for the work of Rose Hawthorne Lathrop? Ingersoll Buckley, 1892, by William James Earl. O right but rash knight of the world, and truth's great host, be steadfast and beware. However you may dare, when two blades clash, 'tis the sharp sword that suffers most. Is the typewriter girl to blame for this? By William James Rowe. Bewail his fate as much as you please, you struggles with adversity, and moralize over the happy woe, humble home and tender welcome, and the sweet kiss at nightfall to the very toiler. I tell you, more men than one would think go from the bosom of the office where all is peace to a cold, heartless, and censorious family. Lest they forget, by William James Rowe. Not for factious feud or quarrel, olive crown or laurel wreath, fly the banners highest masted, gainst the tyranny or wrong, keep the bullet in the barrel, and the sword blade in the sheath, lest some coward, churl or dastard, should forget that we are strong. Light's Decalogue, by William James Rowe. He is atheist who serves God that falters, truth that swerves. Graven images they make who their idols do not break. They keep holy Sabbath day, only who are right always. Honor to their parents give, where you teach a child to live. Where murderers who will, in the course of life, not kill, and a loveless marriage is greatest of adulteries. He is the thief who does not dare tell what tyrants ought to spare, and false witness who deny through the weapons of a lie, while the covet not who are in the dark at crest the star. Make the Tempest serve, by William James Rowe. Two crafts went out across the bar from landlocked bay to ocean brin, both steering for one port afar, one craft my friend's, and one was mine. The sun breeze smiled, the night wind laughed, the white-flocked sky, the foam-decked sea, beckoned and welcomed sailing craft, beckoned and welcomed friend and me. So side by side we sailed and sailed, a far wind behind, fair port before, till port forgot and wind that failed, hath both adrift twixt shore and shore. A sea that stemmed, a sky that scowled, a sullen silence calm as death, when our changing ocean howled, full in our face the wild wind's breath. Then braver held the tiller straight, I fronted storm and foam of sea. I called, our friend, we'll wait, the port will come to you and me. But far across the winding way between the craft of friend and mine, I hear his shell trumpet say, and saw the stay pennon shine. As helm he held not straight as I, not toward the port his course was cast. Coward, I cried, to fail and fly, nor seek the port, nor face the blast. Next morn, for mornings come however, the dark may brood or gales may blow, far towards the port I saw peer the craft of him who left me so. What devil's work, I sneered as this, it was requites my steadfast grip, that he should gain what I must miss, that his should be the nobler ship. But now upon the stagnant sea, despite the helm that never swerved, clear comes the clarion call to me. I took the tempest when it served. Blow north and south, blow east or west, no matter how God's winds may blow, the port comes not to them who rest. they find the port who bravely go. Midwinter Night by William James Thoreau. The year begins in the winter, and the day begins in the night, and the soul that shall live forever on the earth begins its flight. The new year shall yet be summer, the night shall be followed by day, and the soul that shall live forever from the earth shall speed away. The earth is the night and the winter, and heaven is summer and day. As they tread on the steps of the hours, be as sure and as patient as they. On board the steamer Asia, Monday afternoon, by William James Thoreau. 48 hours have I been in my berth, literally weather-bound, for we have had a regular snowstorm. On Saturday evening about 7:30, the wind, which had long been from the west, suddenly reared around to the northeast, bringing with her a violent storm of snow and sleet. During the night the gale increased, and being full in our faces, we made it comparatively slow progress. Nearly all the passengers have been woefully sick, and are only now recovering. The seas are rough, and the ship's movement unpleasant. It's about few of those who are in nature bilious, and therefore suffer greatly from the motion of the waves, have ventured in the cabin. They are preparing dinner. Can I take any? I fear not. Already the odor, pleasant enough to the hungry soul, is becoming disagreeable, and visions of a hopeless siege in my stateroom again come before me. 7 bells have just struck, a half hour more, and we will have a principal meal of the day, the 4 o'clock dinner. On board the steamer Asia, same day evening, by William James Thoreau. I have omitted thus far to speak of my fellow passengers, not because they are not noticeable, but from sheer lack of purpose in what I am writing. And how can one write when the ship is rolling like a humpback whale in the shoal water, as the sailors say? We have but few on board, only 29 first class and about half a dozen of the second class, mostly commercial travellers, I should say, and this class constitutes the average of voyagers at this season of the year. Several going abroad for their health, several on a visit, and only 2 or 3, as far as I can discover, simply for pleasure. Among the latter I had numbered myself, but since I have started I have had cause to consider whether this was really a pleasure trip or not. What with the monotony of the life below, the monotony of the life on deck, and the awful monotony of the motion everywhere, it does not quite come up to my idea of pleasure. One of my fellow travellers, the doctor from Greenfield, Mass, calls my attention to a joke which he has heard somewhere about travellers for pleasure at sea finding out before the voyage was over that they were wretched fools. On board the steamer Asia, same day evening, by William James Thoreau. As I finished the last line above, I heard quite a commotion on deck, and on going up to see what it meant, saw another steamer far off in the northeast, buffeting winds and waves. The captain thinks it is one of the Bremen steamers, but we are too far off to be certain. On board the steamer Asia, Saturday, by William James Thoreau. We woke up this morning to the tune of the glorious southeaster and the songs of the seamen unfurling the sails to take the benefit of it. The air was soft and balmy as a summer morning, and the ship was going at the rate of 13 knots an hour. We almost felt as if the smoky air from the peat bogs of Ireland was fanning our cheeks, and had the wind been in the right direction, we should undoubtedly have smelt the smoke of the fires. The prospect of a safe and pleasant termination of a voyage is no good. Sometime during the night we expect to be in sight of land, or perhaps not until Sunday morning. All are in preparation for it. We look upon our trip as nearly over. On board the steamer Asia, Sunday morning, by William James Thoreau. The mail agent is busy making up his bags for the steamer which we expect to meet at Queenstown this day at noon, so my first letter must close before the voyage is entirely over. But I hasten to finish it at the last moment to let you know the Asia and all on board are safe, for a time at least. The shores of Green Island are glimmering blue and misty in the distant north, and we are but 2 hours' sail from the port of Cork, otherwise known as Queenstown. On board the steamer Asia, Thursday evening, 23rd, by William James Thoreau. This morning I was up and on deck quite early. The wind is blowing fresh, with occasional showers. Looking towards the southeast, I saw the terror of ancient navigators, the sea dog, which is nothing more or less than a rainbow. The sailors all prophesied the storm, and in this case the prediction was fulfilled, for as I write the ship is pitching and tossing under a regular northeaster. About 10 o'clock the wind veered round to the north, thence to the northeast, and soon it creased to quite a gale. On board the steamer Asia, Tuesday morning, by William James Rowe. The wind is again favourable, and we are making 11½ knots an hour. The sea is calm, after a rough night. We have left the banks of Newfoundland to the west, and are not ploughing our way over that portion of the North Atlantic known as the Telegraphic Plateau. I have just left the upper deck. To the east there are signs of a snow squall, but the wind continues favourable, and the air seems to be growing warmer. I am only just beginning to appreciate a sea life. Last evening was spent playing whist and backgammon, but this would have been impossible had I been rough. This is the 6th day out. I observe the fare is getting rather stale, particularly such edibles as fish and chickens. We have plenty of ice, however, and will no doubt keep off starvation till next Monday, when we hope to be in Liverpool. The Islander, by William James Rowe. Upon this island star of space I hear the thunderous billows break. Strange scenes arise before my face. I start and stare, alive, awake. Far seaward glints a parting sail. 'Twas mine, but how and when I cannot tell, for memories fail of spirit things and lands of men. Was I the captain of a bark, whose crew rebelled and left me here? Silence, answer, tell, how dark! Was I myself a mutineer? Theiss of Monterey, by William James Rowe. Then the battle bugles play, and the battle flags are flying, mid mad music of a fray. 'Tis not hard for soldiers dying. But when none is there to tell, who would crave to dare or die? Who would face the fires of hell, asking not, nor caring why? It was but the other day, one there was who knew not fear, on the warship Monterey, Theiss, the gallant engineer. His the best and bravest daring, when the warship's boiler burst, not for gain or glory caring, he was in the death cloud first. The bravest volunteer, who has gone his hero's way, rank him, Theiss, the engineer of the warship Monterey. With his comrades of a crew, strong of heart and firm of lip, while the death blast round them blew, there they stayed to save a ship. Of such stuff are heroes made, the will they worked away. Life was duty, death their trade, but they saved the Monterey. Nail our banners to the mast of such spirits brave and bold. He was neither first nor last, with the metal and the mould. To a Vine on a Spire, by William James Rowe. Grow, little vine, I upward go, leaving the stolid earth below, leaving the tender gardener's care that set thee, frail and feeble, there. Upward beyond the barley rush into the calm of heaven's hush. Close cling thy tendrils to the spire with every touch, but mounting higher. Yet, little vine, thou art like us, thou wilt grow contemptuous, wilt learn the winters now to hate, that gave you rest, yet bade you wait. Indignant with the winds of spring that made thy tendrils closer cling, and scornful of the summer sky because one sunbeam passed thee by. Then, little vine, when at the top of the tall spire thou must stop. 'Tis vain for thee, though planets glow, thy only star is earth below. Yes, little vine, thou art like us, we too have grown contemptuous, so the thoughts of men are vain, and time shall mock our poor disdain. And we must stay our further flight, to mourn there on our wings and height, and we shall hang out heavy head, to loathe the languor earth has fed. And is this all, O sister vine? Are my pure longings only thine? Does the same power thy spirals turn, in the same way my longings burn? And is the end of my desire, where thought, grown languid, mounts no higher? I look, the fading flame of day a moment on the peak doth play, and there the glowing cross around a rest, my sister, thou hast found. Thy very head no longer toss, thou canst not rise above the cross. There's thy rest, O little vine, and there surely shall be mine. Whittier's Birthplace, by William James Rowe. Seldom has a wiser epigram been other than that which tells us, let me make the songs of people, and I care not who makes the laws. The songs are the expression of a nation's higher emotion, of its feeling, its dominant sentiment, while law, after all, is only the sentiment reduced to the form of statutes and constitutions. It is because he was a singer of a great moral truth that John Greenleaf Whittier achieved fame and was a potent influence in his country's history. He sang the song of equality under the law, of a soul colored and common for all humanity, beneath a pallid face of our dusky, of the rights of those who wore the livery of a burnished sun, of the free hand and the broken chain. While the ultra-abolitionists of the North 40 years ago raged and stormed, Whittier, more ultra than them all, yet pleaded in charitable rhythm for a peaceful solution of a vexed question of slavery bequeathed to the Union by the greed and passions of our forefathers. He remembered what they ignored, that at the first all the statesmen of the South looked hopefully to the future for deliverance from the incubus of chattel servitude. He knew, as they seemed not to know, how inherent in the heart of a race, and especially of that branch of that race which we call, not altogether properly, the Anglo-Saxon, was a strenuous respect for precedent and protest against coercion. Whittier sang a song of peace and goodwill to man, of a vast charity and the largest philanthropy. So he will be remembered when greater poets will have sunk into oblivion. In fact, he was not a great poet at all, except as the earnest heart and the true thoughts are always great. Whittier was born in an old-fashioned, clapboarded farmhouse, not far from the banks of the winding Merrimack in Massachusetts, a locality immortalized in the charming pastoral Snowbound. Different in nothing from the multitudes of New England farmsteads surrounded by the usual revenue of barns and sheds and outbuildings, this home of a sedate and serious Quaker family nurtured the man in all the arduous and homely ways which have done so much to rear man, whose influence has been felt far deeper in all our political life.